Hello, ladies and gentlemen of Ballet International. Today, I'm going to give you some explanation on what is the postural gym. Of course, many of you already have an idea because on YouTube and on the net, we have seen many videos about postural gym, about yoga, about different type of training, different type of classes, which helps the body structure to keep in shape. As we all know, we are all human beings, and the body needs to move without any injuries. Now, said that, I'm referring to the world of ballet and ballet dancers, and also to ballet teachers. What you are going to see today is not a ballet class. It's a very simple explanation with a slideshow that I will explain, in my opinion, as a postural gym trainer and also ex-ballet dancer. I will try to explain the why and the purpose that while we are aging and going through all the years, it is absolutely necessary to keep in good shape. So all depends of the type of life that you do. Everything is linked between the mind and the body. So both points, different points, they have a link, a key, and that key is the human body. So that energy that you built up in your soul and in your body are connected together. It is essential also for all human beings today to take care about the type of food that you are eating and the excess and the quality of food. So, in my opinion, I might be wrong, but I'm just giving you some tips, and so you opt and you choose upon what you are going to listen for my words, the things that might match for you and might work for you, because I'm just giving you some tips that have been working very well for me, but that doesn't mean that they will work also well for you. So you have to find out and discover your body, how it responds, and upon the type of life that you do. First, you have to try to have a very simple type of life, which means that avoiding smoking and drinking alcohol would be the great thing. Another thing which is very important is not the quantity of food that you accumulate in your stomach, but is the quality of food. I have discovered on myself after many years, because it took me a lot of time, I have discovered that sometimes eating little things, but things that comes from nature, as vegetables, fruits, a lot of liquids like water, tea, orange juice, all type of juice, tomato juice, whatever you want, um, give you a lot of energy. And if possible, you have 2 meals per day. Now, if I tell you what I'm eating, you will say that I am a completely mad person, but I've got used to that. And probably for you, it won't work at all. But I can tell you that in the morning, I'm having a black cup of tea. Depends also of the season, because in winter, you need more energy, you need more calories, but not too much. So in the morning, just a black cup of tea, possibly not too much sugar. At lunch, you can every day opt for different type of food, but I usually eat 2 eggs, 2 bananas, sorry, 1 banana, and 2 orange, and a few slides of ananas or other type of fruit. So everything is based on something very simple. And I drink another cup of tea. And this is my lunch. For dinner, I can have either rice, boiled rice, or just once or twice the pasta, or spaghetti, or the other type of pasta, but not with sauce. And just white pasta with a little bit of parmesan, a little bit of oil, olive oil, and or you can add any other things, mix it with vegetables, either rice or pasta. Or in winter, I just opt for a good vegetable soup that I prepare at home. And so everything is based on natural products. What you need also to compensate is a lot of sleep, many hours of sleep as you can. The days that you see that your body cannot sleep, don't worry. You stay awake, and then the next day you will feel exhausted, but you will sleep and you will recover again. Because the human body is an excellent machine, and is the human body who decides for you, for me, for everyone. It's very rare that a human body get a wrong clock arrows to turn on the right way. So what you are going to see now next as a video, you're going to see a slideshow in which I will explain the movements that can be done and cannot be done, either for professional and for professional dancers, and also for people who have never done any type of sport. It is very difficult when you see a video online and then you try to copy and to apply all what you have seen in the video on yourself, which is a totally different thing. First, you must never try to do a class, a stretching class, a postural gym class, or the ballet class alone. You must always have a teacher who is guiding you and is coaching you. Never do it on your own. because otherwise you risk, first, you do a lot of mistakes, and second, more the class is difficult and heavy as a postural gym or a yoga, if you have no teacher, you risk great injuries. And so another last thing that I would like to explain. I refer now to ballet dancers, to professional ballet dancers. As we have all noticed today in 2023, and more we go further in the years, and more the problems are going to get higher. So we have noticed that the body structure of human beings has evolved, is not the same as 50, 60 years ago. The muscle body line has changed thanks to the sport activity. But injuries have augmented. Injuries are more higher on the list. So as we all know, ballet dancers have a critical moment in their life between 35 and 40, or maybe some other people. It depends on the individual. It depends from 30 to 42. And there are also younger dancers who have injuries. So younger dancers have usually injuries because they push too much with the knees. They have injuries in the knees, in the ankles, in the shoulders, and in the arms. While the elder dancers who are nearly approaching to the end of their career, they start having major problems as in the spine, in the lower back column. And those are difficult to cure. So I'm going to lay out all these with a, PowerPoint explanation, and I will explain each slide and the purpose of each slide, the pro and the cons of each movement, and the difference between one and the other, in order to give you all an idea. I hope that this video will be useful for some of you, and maybe it could help also people who have never done any ballet, any sport training, or they are not very sporty, but also ballet teachers, in my opinion, they need at least once or twice per week to do a different type of training of professional ballet dancers. It's not because they are teaching that they have to stop their training, in order that they feel much better with their body. And also, when they show the movements, they will feel much better showing the movements. I see that many ballet teachers are putting on weight, and many ballet teachers start to smoke, start to drink, start to eat in excess, which is ruining their life, which is a shame, because ballet teachers, they have been ballet dancers, professional ballet dancers before, and that is not an excuse to let yourself go with an easy type of life just because you have the excuse to be a ballet teacher. A ballet teacher has to do his own training every day. Not every day as a professional, but a different type of training, which is more adaptable for a person who has stopped ballet. This is what I'm trying to say. Now, in the slide that you are going to see also, I will explain the modern type of life that we are doing today, that we are getting used to the technology as mobile phones, computers, and which are affecting the human body as well. Because we get a bad posture when we stay hours in front of the computer and also looking and surfing on the web with our mobile phones. There's a problem with our neck, with our shoulders, with scapula, and everything that goes with the body. So we have to take care about that. I don't say that we mustn't go on the computer and we mustn't use a mobile phone. No, you can, but with moderation, with intelligence. You have to be clever and you have to find the right balance that goes for you, either in the food, either in the type of life, either in everything. So I take this occasion to thank you again and for watching. I'm sorry I am a little bit long in explaining, and please excuse also my English, which is not perfect. But now have a look to this next video. They are linked together, and try to understand my idea and try to enjoy. And I think that you will agree with me with what I said today. Thank you again from Jean-Pierre from Ballet International. I'm doing this video for everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello, ladies and gentlemen of Ballet International. This is the second part of the video. So here we have a skeleton, a human being skeleton, referring to the injuries and to the internal injuries. Those happens during the training to all ballet dancers, to all sportsmen, when they try to push too much during their training. Unfortunately, ballet dancers have the bad habit to exceed a little bit too much in their movements, especially in the stretching. So consider that here we have this skeleton, and as you can see, the most dangerous part and the most delicate part of the human body is this one. Just try to follow the arrow. Is this spinal part, which is the most delicate. Of course, behind all this and next to all this, there is the internal part and the kidneys, the intestine, and the muscles and everything that surrounds that part of the bones and the cartilage. However, a human being, when he reaches 35, 40 years, all those muscles start to change. There is a great changement in this part of the body. While the other part of the body, the neck, the shoulders, the arms, remain strong as before. Now let's go slide by slide. As I said before, this is the spinal cord of a human being, and many people after 50, 55 they start accusing big problems with this part of the spinal column. And sometimes it can happen that it goes a little bit further down. There are some other people who start accusing pain in the hips, which is the sciatica, the muscles who are around this part. And there are some rare cases in which people accuse pain in the upper part of the spine. Now, this is due to an excess of stress and sport activity. Let's go to the next one. This is, of course, a robotic design of a human body, but we can see here, you take the scapula, this one and the other one. When you do your ballet training or your gym training or postural gym, you have to take care about this part of the body as well, because you have to push one scapula against the other and feel those muscles who are nearly touching one against the other, in order that this part of the bones, the shoulders, you pull them down and you lift up your neck upwards. Now, this is the part that I was referring to. You see these muscles who are here, they get weak. So if a person, as a dancer, stops, automatically this part of the body put on some weight, or the muscles get more relaxed and more well, how can I say, they work much less than while they were younger. Sorry, my English is not good. So this is another slide of the postural distortion that may cause vertebral subluxations. This happens to people who usually have an excess of aerobic, of techno dance and modern dance. Here we see the difference between the line of the shoulders, of the hip, of the knees and the ankles. There is a great distortion. So the postural gym helps, and also ballet, without any excess, it helps to remove this distortion, unless the person is born with those distortions, which is completely different matter. Now here in this slide we see the spine, we see the spine, and we also see the muscles that I was talking before that get floppy after 40 years old. And when a slim gymnast or a ballet dancer stop his training, this is the part that gets floppy all at once. And if you put some weight on, this is the part that it's going to be seen. This is another slide of the body who usually make gymnastic, and the muscles, you see all these red muscles are working properly. Those are the internal part of the muscles of a human body. Now here it is very important that you have a look to the spine. As we can see here, it could be also referring to a scoliosis, but ballet, of course, people who are chosen to do ballet, they develop a different type of spine, because the spine in ballet helps you to pull up all the body, while a person who doesn't do ballet, usually sometimes you find it with this problem. Now here the pelvis bones are completely distorted, because you should have this part who goes a little bit backwards and this part who goes a little bit inwards. So it's all a correction that with postural gym, slowly, you can get. You must also consider that when you have people like that with this problem, they have a great difficulty with the turnout while doing the training in the floor gymnastic. Now here, in this slide, we talk about the pain that people have in their back. So I'm going to turn the arrow and look to, could be a good exercise, that you make a sort of arch with your back and slowly you pull down on the floor the whole spine, and then you start again all over again. The important is how to breathe in and how to breathe out during this exercise, and the movement must be done very slowly, never fast. Here we have the disc problem, which happens sometimes with the male dancers, because they have to lift in the pas de deux, and sometimes there is an injury that happens with the herniated disc, which is very painful. So there are different types of exercises to cure that, unless the problem is very serious, and sometimes it may happen that you may have a surgery. Now these are two movements, for different photos, in which we see how the spine should work. Usually I do that at the end of the class, because it's a very relaxing movement, and it helps to relax each bone of the spine, from the top of the neck up to the pelvis. So this is another slide which is very difficult for beginners. So you must never push pretend too much from people who have never do or done ballet or sport or gymnastic or yoga. Because what happens? First, you take a normal person who has never done ballet, and you will see that there is a circular shape on the spine. Of course, a beginner cannot touch the feet because it will hurt those muscles of the thighs, under the thighs, will hurt. So the only way to relax the muscle is to hold the feet, bend the knee, and try to stretch slowly. Maybe one foot at a time. Then, this usually it's in the middle of the class, never in the beginning. Now, this is another interesting part of the postural gym, is when you do that, I usually ask to the students or to the dancers or whoever I have in front of me to keep the flex feet with the arms holding the feet, and the important is the spine that has to be well straight like a table. Then slowly you bend your two elbows and you try to bring the elbows on a straight line on the floor, which is quite a distance, but without pushing. So there are three grades. The first one, the second one, and the third one who is down. So you must always judge if the student or the dancer or the person you have in front of you can go from the first to the second and then from the second to the third, but never pushing. This is very similar to what I have explained before. Do not push because it might hurt in this part of the body and that part. And what is dangerous, if you push too much, you might hear some cracks in the spine. Now this is a much better slide. So this is the correct position, and this is a circular position. What I usually do during the class, it's both. While you are here, you breathe slowly and you curve the spine. Then you breathe again and you stretch the spine again. And this has to be done very slowly. And you repeat that 8 times. These are different exercises. So there is this one, who is a back bend, which is quite difficult, but I usually ask that during the end of the class. This is in the second part of the class. This is at the end, this is nearly at the end, and this is in the middle of the class. Of course, to do all these 5 sequences, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you need a good preparation and a good warm-up. Never do those exercises at a cold body, at a cold state. Otherwise, there is a big risk of injuries. At the end of the class, there is a type of exercises which is circular for the neck and for the head, just to relax this part, which is called trapezius. Now, don't ask me how are those medical names, because in English they are very complicated, also in Latin, and so I just talk very briefly because I don't even know all those names. I can't remember all those names, but I just explain the thing very easy and very briefly for everyone. So this is the correct posture that is expected before starting the postural gym. You see here, the body line, the spine is correct. Everything is based on a straight line, the arms, the shoulders, the spine, and the legs. Now, of course, ballet dancers, we call this type of feet flex feet. And ballet dancers, usually they keep it turned out and not in sixth position. Now this is another stretching exercise which is very good, but people must take care, great care. I will tell you why. Because it depends your teacher or the person who pull with the knee in which vertebra of the body they are touching. Because if they touch the wrong vertebra, you risk an injury. So referring to the previous slide, and here, if your teacher is pulling you and putting you the knee in here, where is the arrow, or here, it's okay. But it's more dangerous if it goes up, because it's the neck. Now this is another type which is different from the previous one, because here you have the teacher who is pulling you and give a strong pressure on the vertebra, while here it's different. Here there is no pressure on the spine, but there is a pressure on the shoulders. And however, your teacher or the person who is doing that behind you must take care to not pull too much, because otherwise you risk a great injury in the back. This is another type of exercise which is usually done at the end of the class when you are fully warmed up, and you must take care of how to hold an arch the whole entire column, keeping your shoulders down and your arms slightly bent. I usually do that, and I ask that to the class to keep the elbows bent like this, and then slowly they stretch. But the feet then must be open at the second and not in the sixth position. And possibly the feet must be turned out in first position and not in sixth position. This is another particular movement of stretching which is very good, but not many people can do it, especially people who start the postural gym, who have never done any sport. But if you are able to do this, imagine that you are standing on your feet with the feet slightly open in the second position, and you make a penché holding this position and a slight cambré, always in second position. And then you bring the whole body to the left, then you return on a straight line as in the photo, and then you turn on the right and you return on a straight line again. So this, while you do this, the important is that the elbows, the two elbows must be on a line, parallel line, and must not fall forward. They must always be behind your ears, on the line of your ears. This is a very good exercise that can be done in different ways. Now, here it develops this part of the muscles and it relaxes all the spinal cord. You must take care of the shoulders that must be pulled down and not in a relaxed mode. I usually do that facing the front and not giving the back. Why? Because there are two different types of exercise. This one is just to relax the spine, but the other one, facing in the front, giving the shoulders to that iron thing, you keep your legs stretched and then you lift them, bending the knees 8 times, and then you lift them at 90 degrees, both legs at 90 degrees. So this is also very good for the abdominal muscles facing the other side. These are two types of stretching, and which people have to take care. This one is in more relaxed mode because all the body weight goes on the floor or on the feet. So you relax your back, you can breathe in and breathe out, and you stay for at least a minute in this position. I usually do also with straight arms, and you bend a little bit the elbows and you stretch them again, but this only for people who are quite supple and don't have problems with the back. While this exercise is very good because it elongates the thigh muscles, so you might feel some pain while you do this movement in the thighs. You have to take care about the joints of the knees, because people who had problems with the knees, it might hurt the knee. And this also, in this movement, you bend the elbow and then you lift up the torso with stretch arm and not bend elbows. Can be done 4 times or 8 times. It depends how you feel. Now this is usually called the frog turn out or the frog position. That can be done also with the stomach facing the floor. This is very good because it helps to relax and to pull up the whole spine and to relax the hip joints without pushing too much into the floor, because not everybody has a strong turn out. There are people who are very tight, very close, so they mustn't push too much. This is another type of stretching that we usually see in ballet and in artistic gymnastic, and also we do that in yoga and postural gym. Now it is with great care that people have to do that, because as you can see here, there is a lot of pressure on the spinal cord and on the hips. So people who have been suffering from sciatica, they have to take care about this movement, because those are the 2 main parts that, if the movement is not well done and the body is not well warmed up, you risk to have terrible pain in this part of the body. Now here I have taken from internet also some photographs of people who are not young, but there are some who are very good. Take this one on the left. This is a lady who for sure has been making sport from quite several years, and as you see, the line of the spine is correct, and the feet, and of course, bravo, because it is nice to see people who can do some training at home or with a good teacher. Now this lady on the right is, I think, she's very famous. I don't know if she's still alive, but I have seen a video. She's something like 91, 92, I think, and she has made a lot of yoga when she was young, and she's still doing her training, unless she's not alive anymore. But as we can see, of course, the spine is different from this one. It's a little bit more curved, and the knees are less bent than this one. But however, for the person of 92, it is very rare and bravo to reach this point, because there are some people at the age of 35 who have never done any sport. They are not even able to do this on the right. Now this is a very relaxing movement that many dancers do at the bar, and it helps to breathe and to relax all the spine. So you arch a little bit the spine, and usually after this arch you bend the 2 knees, you go down and you make a circular movement in which you return and you stretch again as this position. This exercise is very good if you do it after that, because it relaxes all the pressure that you have been giving to do that. So you relax the muscles and you avoid and you erase all the pain that you have accumulated in this exercise. Now this one is also very good, but it demands more pressure on the knees. However, if you see, she's pulling the elbows against the knees, so that helps her to stay in balance. Now this one is different, because while in this one you stand on your feet, and however you give a lot of pressure on the hips, in this one you don't have the same pressure, but you try to relax all the back, the spine, and then usually I do that keeping the legs in this way, and then you pull the legs at the second with stretched knees and pointed feet. So all those exercises that we have seen are made to correct the spine. Now here we go into the wrong position. We have a design, a silhouette of a person who takes all the time to stay with the mobile phone, and what happens is that automatically we have neuralgic points in the neck, and you start having pain, a lot of pain. As we know, the head, the skull, is the heaviest part of the body. So here you have 5 kilos, here you get 12 kilos, here 18 kilos, and there 27 kilos weight. So imagine all this for the spine create a big damage. And here we have two exceptional ladies of about 80 and more years old, who with their strong will are doing, this lady is doing yoga, and I think she is older than 87 or 89, while this one also is nearly the same, and she has been doing a lot of gymnastic before, artistic gymnastic, and but she is still in shape. Now this is the lady here on the left, but I told you before that she is about 92. I hope she is still alive. And while she's doing her yoga classes, so as we can see here, this is not an easy thing. And also in this photo she's quite in the correct position and she's enjoying. We must always consider, of course, this is the lady when she was young. We must always consider that while we are aging, we must content ourselves because of what our body is offering to us. There are days in which you see that your body cannot do, then you mustn't push. And the days where you feel you are good, then you can push a little bit more. On the right, we have another extraordinary person who is trying to make a split at the bus station. But here are a little bit dangerous things, as the back, as the hips and the knee. So but of course the lady has managed to do it correctly. Of course, when you have people like that, you cannot tell them this is good, this is bad, because we must let them enjoy what they are doing. Now this is another type of stretching. This one helps you to pull the side part of the muscles. Also this one. Now what happens is, the difference is that the person is holding a strong wall, and this one is nearly free. So the feeling of doing this is different between this one and that one. I usually ask to do this in second position with a towel on the hand. This is another type of movement which is very good. So you start with this exercise, and I usually ask to the class to bend, to bring the shoulders, the two shoulders, a little bit back, like if they want to lie down, and then to return as this position, and then to bring the two shoulders and the head forward. So that means that this part of the muscles are going to be stretched at the full. This is different on the light because you have to be well warmed up and you mustn't push too much. Usually I do that, or I ask to the students or to the people who are in front of me to do that, and then you stretch, you bring your foot upwards to the ceiling, holding the foot. But this is very, very difficult, and you have to do it, as I said, with a good warm-up. Now returning again to this exercise is stretching this part of the body. Once you get well warmed up and that you are secure, not many people can do it, you have this exercise. But this is a little bit more dangerous for the neck. but it's a very good exercise as well. Now here we have two different silhouette design, in which when you make the back bend, here are with the stretch elbows, but the legs must be open at the second. And sometimes I ask that the legs must be wide open and not a little bit open. Now in this one on the right, the legs are in sixth position and the elbows are bent. But the important is that the neck must be lifted upwards in both positions. This is something that happens sometimes with male dancers during a pas de deux. Now there is another slide that I will show you later that happens usually in pas de deux work, that male ballet dancers, while they do their lifts with the girl, the ballerina, they have problems with the joints of the shoulder, and that hurts terribly much. So there is a series of movements that can be done to cure that. This is another type of stretching which is very good, but to be done with great care. Now you will notice the difference. In this part you have the person who is holding the ankles with the arms, which is a little bit more difficult, while this one is not holding the arms. Returning to this, you can do it in sixth position, or you open your feet at the second a little bit. This part exactly the same. You can keep your knees a little bit wider open, and it helps you to avoid pain in the back. This one is very good, and I usually ask to do with open knees, and then you join the knees together. So you open and you close, you open and you close, and while you do that, it is very important to relax the shoulders and to pull up the entire neck with the head from the floor. This one is a very good exercise, and it helps you to work two parts of the body. One is this part of the body, and you have to hold this position as long as you can. And this part of the body, abdominal part, you keep your muscles inwards, not outwards. In these exercises, this one, I'm referring to this one, well, this is a design, a silhouette design, but I usually do that with a stretch knee in the back, and many times I do it in this way, with the shoulders and the arms in this way, but more often I try to bring the shoulders down so they become parallel to the hip and to the knee, and you try to open the arms wider open at the second. And this knee and the foot remain stretched. This on point, pointed foot, and this stretched and turn out. This is a very good movement, but it is a little bit dangerous. I will tell you why. Because if you do that and you push too much with the arms, you risk to have a problem with the spine. Even if the feet and the legs are open a little bit at the second, you will, if you try it, you will feel some pain. Even if you relax the whole body, you will feel some pain in this region. So you have to do it very carefully. This is another exercise which is very good, but it's very tiring and it demands a lot of concentration because it makes you work all the back and the sciatica muscles. So you have to do it very, very slowly and very carefully. This one is very good, but you have a lot of pressure that you must give into the arms and into the hips who are touching the floor. Beginners, you can ask them to do with the two legs a little bit with the knees slightly bent, but it's very difficult for the people who have never done ballet or sport. While even for professional, I always suggest to use a little pillow to put under the hips because it hurts sometimes. This is another good exercise that anyone can do, but without pushing too much. As you can see, there's one with the two arms, then you move one arm, then the other arm follow, and then it returns and returns back as the beginning. This is a very good exercise. Of course, the feet must be pointed and not relaxed as in the photo. This is a good exercise that can be done also without those elastic bands. I usually hold the left foot with my left arm, and then I bring the right leg upwards and I turn slowly, joining the two feet together. Because while you do this, you may feel some pain in the back or in the shoulders. Another also good exercise is if you do the same thing with the two knees bent and the feet goes sideways forward, and you relax the whole spine. So you might feel your vertebra cracking and a strange noise coming out of it. So don't be scared, because sometimes it happens. Now, the difference between this one on the left, on the right, and this one on the left. Here, the lady is giving a lot of pressure on the back, even if she is trying to relax. And here it's more moderate, it's more kind, it's more gentle movement, and it helps to relax, it helps to relax this part. So there is a difference between this and this. Now, of course, this sometimes ballet dancers do that at the bar, and those gymnasts or yoga teachers or trainer or athletes, they are used to do that some years and years and years. If you ask to do that to a person who has never done ballet or never done any sport, that becomes impossible. Now, this is more, the one on the right is more similar to ballet, because many ballerinas do that holding with this arm the bar, and they do that. And the foot, as you can see, is more correct than rather this one, who is a little bit arched and going inward. But here, however, the hip is correct, as also in this one. If I must choose, I prefer the spine line of this gentleman, which is on a straight line with the foot supporting leg, than rather this that you see from the neck. I go down and there is a distortion here. So it's not on a straight line as this one. Now those are the bad habits. Those are the bad habits that we have with computers and smartphone. Many people in front of the computer, sometimes they look to a movie and they stand in this way. As we can see from the arrow, the most delicate part is this, the neck. So imagine if a person like this stands up and try to bring the neck backwards again. It's going to hurt like hell. Also, you must consider that if you had dinner and you remain in this position, your stomach and your liver and all the organs who are inside, they will do a double work to digest what you have been eating. Now this is the wrong position and this is the correct position. Those are two different exercises. This one is more relaxed without pushing. Maybe a little bit, I would rather say, too relaxed, because in case she's having a good nap in this way, I don't think she will wake up after 1 hour, 2 hours. But however, if she remains like that, it relaxes all the legs and the back and the pelvis and the spine, which is good. This one is different because all the pressure is on the arms, under the heel, and you relax only this part of the muscles and the spine, and also you pull these muscles. This is another good exercise that not many people can do, but however, there are people who do it on the side with the side leg, this foot who goes on the side, and there are some people who do it in the front. And but you have to remember that all the pressure and all the weight of the body is only on this knee. So people who have problems with the knee, they have to take great care about this movement. And also people who had problems or injuries with the back, they have to take care because all the weight is going in here instead of the foot. You must also remember that lifting up your leg, your foot from the floor so high, it might hurt the internal part of the thigh and the external part of the thigh of this leg, of the left leg. This is a relaxing movement that you can do after your training, after the bar, after or during rehearsals, in order to relax the spine. You see the spine is slightly, a little bit bent. It takes the shape of this pillow. And I usually do or ask to the students to lift a little bit the legs, pointing the feet a little bit upwards, and they go down. But the strength must come from the abdominal muscles, keeping the abdominal muscles in. Another good exercise in doing this, which is quite difficult and quite tough, is to bring, without the pillow of course, to bring the shoulders up and go down 4 or 5 or 8 times. This is another exercise that is very good, that stretches the upper part of the hips. And this is the upper part of the hips. This one is a little bit more complex as movement because it demands more concentration and more relaxation. You need to relax while you do that. And of course, all the strength comes from here, and while you hold your foot, you relax the entire part of the side. You must also take care that for some people it's going to be difficult to get that knee who remains on the floor. Sometimes the knee goes a little bit upwards. This doesn't matter. The important is to relax and to not feel any pain in the joints. This one is different because it might hurt this knee, and for people who had problem with the back, they mustn't push too much. They can only hold the plant of the foot without pushing too much, and without pushing too much, putting the nose under the knee, because the back might hurt. Now this is a wrong position of the computer. Unfortunately, today many people stand in the computer due for work reason or at home, and they stay hours and hours and hours. Of course, not many people will be able to stand straight like this, but this is 90% correct. This is a very good exercise also that I usually do or ask to the students to open wide at the second the knees, not to keep them joined, or sometimes to open and to close, but it's quite heavy as movement, not really for the back but for the shoulders and for the arms. This movement is very good, but you have to take care if you do it, because it might hurt the sciatica muscle, because you are pulling the knee on the floor, so you are pushing, and sometimes there is a distortion here that hurts, and many times it might hurt this part. So what is important is while you do that, you breathe deep in and out and you relax. But the important thing is when you release your hand from the foot, you must do it very, very slowly. Don't do it in a quick mode. Oops, sorry. This is a good exercise also that can be done in a different way, but this is, the basic of the candle, in which you have to remain straight, which is very good for blood circulation, and you keep this position for at least a minute or two. Then there are different types of movements that you can do with the legs, opening at the second, and there are a multitude of exercises for the back column, bringing the legs behind and moving the legs in a circular mode, but this has to be done very carefully. Now this is a very good exercise also that demands a lot of concentration, because everything, all the power is based on here. Now if instead of pulling up the back you relax the back, you will fall over. Now this is what I was referring to before, the injuries of the shoulders. You see, in this photograph we have, of course, an exceptional beautiful photo of a pas de deux, which is quite unusual to see a ballerina on point on the shoulder of the male dancer. But sometimes, even if you do a normal pressage in a pas de deux or a normal lift, sometimes it may happen that for the male dancer will have some injuries in the back of the shoulder. And the shoulder joint pain are very painful. Now this is a young ballet dancer in which we can see two correct positions. One, the nose is falling on a straight line into the chest. So which means that the neck is well placed and the shoulders are pulled down and the scapula are touching, pushing one against the other. While in my opinion, here the back needs more control. The other little kid is still too young and there is a lot of work to do. But this one is okay. Here we see the difference that we have seen before. The shoulders, the nose will fall down on the chest, and the head and the neck that is well pulled up. And here we have reached the end of our explanation. Teachers today have to take great care of what they give to the young students. Young students like this one on the left is a small child, and small children absorb everything you tell them. So when they start to do ballet seriously, they have to follow a good training with a good teacher, which is today it's more easy to find good teachers but you also have to take care. If they go into good ballet academies, then you have good ballet teachers. Also the private schools, but sometimes you may have difficult situation with the teachers also. And this, of course, on the right is a professional ballerina who started as this small child on the left and became professional. So as you see, the world of ballet, the world of postural gym, all type of sport are not easy, and this is why I recommend everybody to work with great passion, and you content yourself of what you can do. Not everyone can be the hero, can be the first ballerina, the danseur étoile. Not everyone can become the great choreographer, the first ballet dancer. No, you do what you can, because it's what you do daily that shape your life, your future, and your future decide for you. So if your body can give you the possibility when you are not young to do some sport, do it, enjoy it. Even if you do mistakes, enjoy it, but just do something, don't stand still. Never underestimate yourself, and try, do, work, move. Said that, I wish to thank you all for watching this video, and I hope that my little tribute to help you to work for you, not for me, will encourage you to go forward and to fight and never give up. Thank you again. Bye bye.